What do you tell your kids? Where do you start? I've got 4 children, and it seems like, well, kind of like me, when you get money, you got to spend it because you need to put it on stuff. But what's the message for someone, say, 10 years old or 12 or 14, 15?
Well, it's interesting you say that. I mean, because that's the problem that a lot of parents have is where do I start and how do I begin? Just to share with you, we have a website called talkwithourkidsaboutmoney.com, and there's all sorts of suggestions and backgrounds and ideas and recommendations for parents in terms of talking with their kids about money on different age ranges, 5 to 7, 8 to 10. And I think the important thing is not to be a teacher. Kids don't want their parents in many cases to sit them down and say, let's learn about money. What you want to do is have it be a very natural and engaging experience, to give them something to arouse their curiosity, get them to ask questions, be able to be involved in the discussion, if you like. And people often ask me, if you were to say, what's the most important thing you want to teach your kids about money? What I would say is trade-offs, that every single decision you make, almost in life, entails a trade-off, either today or in the future. And even for parents and as adults, if you can pause and think for a second, what are the trade-offs I'm making here in this decision that might affect them, I might want to consider before I make this decision, it will lead to better decisions all the way along. And so, and when we talk again to parents, a lot of times people think it's talking about math calculations and things like that. Financial education is really trying to empower young people to feel confident enough to ask questions, to feel that they can plan. We talk about self-efficacy in a child to be one of the most important things you can focus upon, and that is to develop that sense among them that they can set and accomplish goals. If they develop that sense of a belief in themselves, it's incredible how it manifests itself into effective financial behavior, because they stay in control, they ask questions, they take initiative.
You're going to speak with representatives from the Department of Education today. Are we doing enough in our schools to equip? Because as you say, I mean, when my kids went to learn to drive, I didn't teach them because I knew it would be better for somebody else, because it would become a, stop here. It wouldn't be an enjoyable thing. Same for money. Are we doing enough in schools? Should schools be should there be an actual class in, this is how you're going to have to manage your life financially? Because it is obviously very important going forward.
And pretty much all the provinces across the country are trying to do something in that regard. It's a little challenging when you have an entrenched system and you're trying to introduce new material into it, because it's always that sort of zero-sum thing. If this is coming in, what is coming out? So most of the provinces are working on trying to integrate it into existing curriculum, but more and more they're actually building and implementing specific courses. Young people want to learn this. We surveyed about 6,000 young people back in November, and overwhelmingly there was this desire to learn more about this as a practical, relevant life skill. And so many provinces now are trying to lay a foundation by integrating it into earlier grades and then capping it off with some specific modules, courses, half courses in later years. But the key thing is to start early, because in many cases with financial education, we're trying to determine behavior, that kids will act and be different, just not that they will simply know different things. And starting at a young age, you can do behavioral development. If we wait till high school to start, you're into behavior modification, and that is an incredibly more difficult job. So we really advocate in the whole program. Our Talk with Our Kids About Money program starts young. We try and get it in at a young age, build over time so that they develop those behaviors rather than try to change their behavior later on.
The examples, we've got to finish it here, the government set, though, by having, like in the States, a $20 trillion debt, $12 billion debt here in this province alone, and you hear about this on the news. It's not a great example from parents, governments, and how most parents have to live their lives now just because people are carrying around a lot of debt.
Well, and parents often tell us, who am I to teach my kid? Because a lot of them feel they made mistakes, and they say, so am I the one? We will tell them that puts you in the best position to educate your child, because if you've made mistakes, you probably learn from those mistakes. And so take advantage to help your children not make the same mistakes. But at the same time, if the outcome isn't very consequential, let them make a mistake or two along the way. It's the best way to learn. If they want something, you don't think it's really the thing to have, but it's not that expensive, let them see that it wasn't necessarily a great decision. But you're right, we're modeling behavior all the time, governments, but also parents. Even if parents don't think they're teaching their kids about money, they are. The kids are watching, they're learning. And you may not know you're teaching your kid, but you are, and the best thing is to be aware of that and make sure you help teach good skills, good understandings of things, and how to make effective decisions.
Your website again?
talkwithourkidsaboutmoney.com.